New Westminster, in HO gauge, exhibited by Bonnybridge Model Railway Club. New Westminster is a district of Vancouver, Canada, which has many rail-served industries. This layout represents several of these industries and depicts the various switching operations required to serve them. The operating era of the layout is 2000 to 2010. BNSF, Burlington Northern Santa Fe, CN, Canadian National, and CP, Canadian Pacific, are the three main freight companies operating in the area. Locos from these three companies, their subsidiaries, and also those from other operators can be seen switching the variety of freight cars serving the local industries. The former freight depot, now a diner, attracts rail fans who come to see the great variety of locos and freight cars operating in this area. Freight transfers from local yards can provide some interesting workings, adding further variety to the trains on show. The track work is all Pico Code 83, with switches, points being operated by the wire and tube method. Locomotives and rolling stock on the layout are mostly ready to run from various US manufacturers including Cato, Athearn, Atlas and Walters. Buildings are mostly from kit built from Walters and modified to suit their location on the layout. The layout is DCC controlled using the Gagemaster Prodigy advanced system, with mostly sound-fitted locos operating. Tallic in 00 gauge, exhibited by Terry Tew. Tallic is set in north-east Scotland and is the terminus of a fictitious ex-Great North of Scotland Railway branch line. Situated at the front of the layout is the entrance to a whisky distillery. Most of the buildings are scratch-built, including the very typical GNSR goods shed and signal box. The station building is loosely based on the one at Carron. The vast majority of the 70-plus trees of various sizes on the layout are handmade. Rolling stock ranges from immediately after nationalisation in 1948 up to 1965, when it is assumed the branch would have closed. This includes ex-GNSR and Caledonian Railway stock, BR standard classes and later diesel examples. Wellpark in 00 gauge, exhibited by the Scottish Diesel and Electric Group. It was decided early in the club's formation that there should be a layout that was constructed by the members for the club. With the donation of 2 baseboards, the group set about deciding on a concept and planning a new layout. There are 2 separate lines that service the east end of Glasgow, that being the North Clyde line and the Argyll line. The North Clyde line was built piecemeal from a patchwork of routes from various Victorian-era railway companies. Today, the electrified line has become the 4th rail link between Glasgow and Edinburgh. The Argyll line, which is the former Caledonian Railway lines, incorporated Bridgeton Cross Station on the Glasgow low-level line to Glasgow Central Station. Because the donated board already had an island platform constructed on it, and we had agreed to keep it, Belgrove Station was selected to be the station that we would base the layout on, but have features from Bridgeton Cross. Not being a prototypical layout, we had the problem of naming the layout. This was settled quickly when it was decided to have some sidings and what traffic would use them. With the Tennant's Caledonian Brewery being prominent in the area to Belgrove, it was agreed to have grain traffic to service the brewery. Tennant's Brewery on Duke Street is called the Wellpark Brewery and has an association with brewing on the site that can be traced back to 1556. So it is safe to say that Wellpark is synonymous with the east end of Glasgow. Another thing that is synonymous with Glasgow, good and bad, is its football teams. It was decided to set the layout in the late 70s, early 80s on Old Firm Saturday. Celtic Park is in the east end of Glasgow, so the railway is used by their fans to travel on match day. Rangers are from the south side of Glasgow, and their fans normally use buses to travel to the match. Bridgeton is an area near Celtic Park which has a strong connection with Rangers, hence the use of Bridgeton Cross in the layout. Effingham Street, in 00009 gauge, exhibited by Steve and Chris Saxby. The idea behind Effingham Street is that although the LYR and LNWR built numerous lines to the north of Manchester, only limited physical connections were made until the grouping. Since nationalisation, increased competition from road transport means the railway has now been heavily rationalised, with the through route being closed, although a dwindling number of industries still contract BR for freight movement. The sidings adjacent to Effingham Street are at the end of a small yard, and a basic wooden platform is provided for two-car DMUs shuttling to from Rossendale and Manchester. The factory served by this yard still has an operating internal narrow-gauge railway, and part of this is depicted. Operation of the DMUs is automated using JMRI software on an old laptop, interfaced with a Merg DCC system via block detectors. The yard is operated manually using Merg DCC handsets. Points are operated by servo units, also from Merg. Locos are DCC sound fitted, and like the rolling stock are weathered and detailed. Trackwork is C&L, and buildings are a mixture of Bachmann, Hornby and Skytrex, with roadways and walls being will sheets. The station platform was constructed from coffee stirrers. Kettlewell in P4 gauge, exhibited by John Stocks and the West Scotland 4mm group. Kettlewell is a P4, what might have been layout, had the parliamentary powers granted in 1880 Skipton and Kettlewell Railway Act been exercised. It is a rural branch line terminus station. It was designed to be an exhibition layout that is operated to a timetable to provide constant activity for the viewing public. The layout has a number of features. A unique fiddle-yard design that allows a 5-road traverser to be turned around a scenic model of Kettlewell village where the station is imagined to be, and a 15-lever mechanically interlocked lever frame which controls turnouts and signals and provides cross-interlocking with the two local ground frames. The use of ground frames for the station and goods yard areas allows the operators to provide concurrent operations on the passenger and goods sides. In the 4 years since Kettlewell was last exhibited in Scotland, development work has continued. This has not involved fundamental changes, but has been focused on providing an improved experience for the viewing public, reduction and hopefully eventual elimination of derailments, the use of uncoupling magnets to avoid manual interventions, hawthorn bushes and improved vegetation on embankments, and midlandization, with a number of additional prototypical pre-grouping Midland features added, as well as the repainting of signals and signage into the authentic colour schemes. Reivy Road West in 00 gauge, exhibited by Bradford Model Railway Club. The layout is normally run in the BR Blue Diesel era 1976 to 85. Scenery and track. This is polystyrene blocks covered with lightweight polyfiller painted a dark brown and given several coatings of woodlands, scenic flock. The numerous trees are from the model tree shop. The scenic section track is Pico code 75 with code 100 for the fiddle yard. Buildings and back scene. Buildings in the town are laser-cut wood, painted and detailed. The industrial buildings have been scratch-built using the time-honoured method of cardboard and plasticard. The back scene is a painted-on sky colour which is enhanced using a printed townscape montage cut from various town scene sheets. Electrics and control. After many years of the traditional analogue control, this is the club's first venture into DCC layout. This has entailed a complete recabling of the layout with a DCC bus divided into 4 districts for added reliability. The system chosen uses NCE Power Pro 5-amp controllers with 5-amp booster. NCE was selected as many members were already familiar with NCE power cabs which are compatible with the Pro system. Pico point motors are controlled using DEC Concepts hardware. Signals are mainly from Absolute Aspects Limited with one from CR Signals Limited. The signals are automated using IR sensors between the rails from Block Signaling Limited and a reset using a simple timer. Street lamps illuminate the town, where possible prototypical to the period trains are run. All the locomotives and stock are from Bachmann, Hornby and Dapol. The majority are DCC sound fitted with detailed buffer beams and lightly weathered, often with extra detail. Tail lamps and pipes may also be seen on the last wagons, coaches of all the trains. Donaghadee Railway Station in 00 gauge, exhibited by Gordon Hunt. Donaghadee is a small picturesque town on the northeast of the Ards Peninsula in Northern Ireland. From the 1600s it was the main trade route from Port Patrick in Scotland to Ireland, and was known as the gateway to Ulster for Scottish settlers. The current Donaghadee harbour and pier were built in 1821. The railway line, which connected Donaghadee to Belfast via Newtonards and Coma, was built in 1861 by the Belfast and County Down Railway (BCDR) Company. In 1870, a siding to the pier was built and handled sizable coal traffic. The station was closed on the 22nd of April 1950. This was part of a beaching-type exercise in Northern Ireland, which resulted in the creation of the Ulster Transport Authority. The BCDR railway network was therefore reduced to just the Belfast to Bangor line. The layout is based on what the station looked like just before it closed in 1950, and comes from a love of railways, especially the BCDR, happy childhood memories, and a way of preserving a piece of history. It got its first outing at an exhibition in Donaghadee in 2022. The layout and all the buildings, which are scratch-built, are all my own work except for the stump of the working lighthouse, which was subcontracted to a guy who had a wood lathe. My aim was to try and create a piece of history that people could remember and younger people could learn about. I have also tried to emulate the ambience of the station layout and history. The layout is made up of 3 boards. The fiddle yard is a traverser with 6 roads. The layout is DC and operated by a single AC controller. The locomotives used are basically steam with some more recent diesels, but these never ran in Donaghadee before it closed. They are a mixture of scratch-built kits, conversions and RTRs. Rolling stock is coal wagons, general goods including some BR containers taking Cyril Lord. He had a carpet factory in Donaghadee, carpets to Russia, and 6-wheel carriages with a few bogie coaches.